Hello everybody and welcome back to English for Professionals. I'm Derek and I'm here with another short lesson for you busy people. In this lesson, I want to teach you some useful vocabulary from one of my favorite TED Talks. So we're going to do 4 things in this lesson. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about TED Talks. Then I'm going to teach you some useful vocabulary from one of my favorites. I also want to show you how watching TED Talks can benefit you, and at the end of the lesson I'll give you some tips on how to use the platform. So what are TED Talks? TED is an organization that publishes videos of very interesting talks. The talks are given by people around the globe covering a wide variety of topics such as science, design, technology, business, and much more. The people who give the talks are usually experts in their field or just people with a very interesting idea to share. And that's where TED's slogan comes from. And one of my favorite TED Talks is by this guy. His name is Richard St. John. He's a marketer and success analyst. And in his talk, he talks about the 8 keys to success. He interviewed 500 very successful people, and in a few moments you'll hear what some of them said. I have 3 clips to share with you. I'll play each clip twice and then I'll explain some of the vocabulary. Here's the first clip.
Alex Garden says, to be successful, put your nose down in something and get damn good at it. There's no magic, it's practice, practice, practice. Alex Garden says, to be successful, put your nose down in something and get damn good at it. There's no magic, it's practice, practice, practice.
So in this context, the phrase to put your nose down in something means to work very hard and put a lot of effort into that thing. To work very hard and put a lot of effort into that thing. It's a very informal phrase. And so is this one, to get damn good at it. To get damn good at it really means to become very, very good at something. To become very, very good at something. Now let's take a look at another clip.
And push. David Gallo says, push yourself. Physically, mentally, you've got to push, push, push. You got to push through shyness and self-doubt. Goldie Hawn says, I always had self-doubts. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. I didn't think I'd make it. Now, it's not always easy to push yourself, and that's why they invented mothers. Frank Gehry said to me, my mother pushed me. And push. David Gallo says, push yourself. Physically, mentally, you've got to push, push, push. You got to push through shyness and self-doubt. Goldie Hawn says, I always had self-doubts. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. I didn't think I'd make it. Now, it's not always easy to push yourself, and that's why they invented mothers. Frank Gehry said to me, my mother pushed me.
And the word we're going to focus on here is self-doubt. Self-doubt, which is when you're not sure about your abilities or yourself. When you're not sure about your abilities or yourself. When you think you're not good enough. And be careful with the pronunciation here because the B is silent. So we say self-doubt and not self-doubt. 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 By the way, did you like the part about the mothers? That always makes me smile. Let's move on now to the next clip.
Persist. Joe Kraus says persistence is the #1 reason for our success. You got to persist through failure. You got to persist through crap, which of course means criticism, rejection, assholes, and pressure. Persist. Joe Kraus says persistence is the #1 reason for our success. You got to persist through failure. You got to persist through crap, which of course means criticism, rejection, assholes, and pressure.
Now let's take a look at the meaning of persist. To persist means to continue doing something or trying to do something even though it's very difficult or challenging. So to continue doing something or trying to do something even though it's very difficult. So in other words, not giving up. And another word here that we want to look at is failure. Failure, which is basically the opposite of success. The opposite of success. And be careful with the pronunciation here. A lot of people say failure, failure, but it has a Y sound after the L, a Y sound. So it sounds like this: failure, failure, failure. And let's take a look at two more words here. The first one, criticism. Criticism, which is when people tell you that what you do or say is wrong or bad. Criticism, when people tell you what you do or say is wrong or bad. And the second word, rejection. Rejection, which is when people say no to or don't accept your ideas or plans. When people say no to or don't accept your ideas or plans. Great, so that was some vocabulary from one of my favorite TED Talks. Now let me tell you how you can benefit from watching TED Talks. First of all, TED Talks are a great resource for listening to authentic spoken English. Secondly, you can improve your vocabulary by picking up useful words and phrases. You can also improve your public speaking skills by watching experts talk to large groups, and you can be inspired. I know several business managers who have successfully implemented ideas that they've heard in TED Talks into their own businesses. Depending on your current level of English, you might find it challenging to understand the talks. However, if you are persistent and do it regularly, remember what it means to persist? If you persist and do it regularly, you will find that it gets easier with time, and you'll also find yourself picking up useful words and phrases. And as I said earlier, you might even be inspired. And finally, a few tips for using TED. So the talk I showed you is about 3.5 minutes in total, but there are talks that are as long as 20 minutes or even longer. I recommend that you start off with the shorter talks. Go to TED.com. Click on Watch and then choose TED Talks. Then choose a topic that interests you. Click on Duration and choose 0 to 6 minutes. Have a look at the selection and choose one that sticks out for you. If you already have a high level of English and your listening skills are very good, watch the talk without subtitles. If you find it difficult to follow the speaker, choose English subtitles if they are available. They usually are. And if you find it very difficult to follow the speaker, see if subtitles are available in your first language. Another great feature of TED Talks is the transcript. Use this to go back and pick out the words and phrases you found most interesting or useful. And now it's your turn. Go to TED.com and pick a short talk to watch. Then come back and tell us about your experience in the comments. That brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope you liked it and I hope you found it useful. If you did like it, hit the like button and share with your friends and colleagues. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, and join my email list. Every 2 weeks I send out my free vocabulary email with additional business English, words from the news, and everyday English for you to learn. The link is in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon.